Hi guys, this is Kyle again. Sorry it's been so long since I filmed a video, but I've been super busy on some really exciting things. This video is specifically for someone, I'm not going to say her name, but it's specifically for one of my clients who came to me. She was so sweet. She needed a bridal consultation and we ended up using this palette. Sorry. So this is Painterly Paint Pot. It's been well loved. Let me just take a little flat brush and some Painterly. We're just gonna go over our eyelid with that. This will take out all the color that's in the lid. Okay, so we have Painterly on our lid. It's all set. I'm gonna put that white shade, that light shade, in here, in the front of the eye. Whatever you do to one eye, you want to do to the other. And kind of below the brow. And since this is matte, and since I'm pretty fair, I'm going to take it all the way underneath the brow. Okay, next step is going to be this rose shade right here. We're going to take that kind of all over the lid. This is a really pretty shade just for every day. I'm just going to press that all over the eyelid. And to whatever I do to the top in a bridal look, I'd probably do to the bottom just so that it looks nice and blended and put together. So I like to do eyes first anytime I do a bride, because that way if anything falls, it's not going to ruin all the work we've already done on her base. Now we're going to take this camel-y sort of color in the corner. So we just did this one all over the lid and underneath the eye. I'm going to take this camel-y color and I'm going to press this towards the outside edge of the eye. It's a little bit deeper than the pink. Not a lot, but a little. And it's a different tone, so it's going to create a little bit different effect. This one's kind of a khaki sort of color, so it's going to start to build depth, but it's also still not our darkest shade we're going to use. So blending brush, domed brush. This is more of our flat brush. It's flat on both sides, domed. So this brush I can still blend with because it's still fluffier. Some flat brushes, like this one for example, is extremely flat, so it's not as fluffy as this one. This one can still be a blendy brush. This one not so much. It's more for packing, placing. So we're going to take this brush, which is pretty much only for blending. Sometimes I'll put shadows on with it, but rarely. So take this with nothing on it, and we're just going to fluff it around the edges of what we put down. And don't worry too much if the bottom part looks crazy. That's fine. We'll be kind of taking a wipe and cleaning that up. It's fine. If it looks messy now, that's okay. The top needs to look a little bit better than the bottom, because the top we're not going to have any cleanup up there so much. But if you do need to clean up the top part, you can use that lighter shade we used first, so this white sort of shade, you can use that to blend it down. Next up, we're going to take this dark brown in the corner, the darkest color in the palette. I'm going to put that on just the very tip of this brush. Give it a tap. A lot of pigment flies off of it, so make sure you give it that tap. And then we're going to focus this even more further back in the eye. And I'm kind of using little pressing, stamping motions and little back and forth motions to get that to blend in with the other shades. Take your blending brush, again, nothing on the brush, make sure that it doesn't have any product left from blending before, and then just go to the edge of that shape and give the edge of that shape a good blend. So let's take a little bit of that brown shade again in the corner, this one here, just on the very tip. Tap, tap, tap. And then same thing on the bottom. Let's do some smoky outer corner action. I'm not taking this one all the way across like we did the lighter pink. I'm just doing it right on the edge because we want this to kind of frame our eyes and make some depth. So I'm going to take a black eyeliner pencil. This one's by MAC. It's called Engraved. Any black eyeliner pencil that stays in your waterline or is waterproof is gonna work best. And something that's nice and creamy and easy to work around. So I'm gonna put that in the top rim of my eye, and I kind of just close against it. Okay, we're back. So this will work for our purposes, but this is not what I showed this client, and this is not what I'd necessarily recommend. But for filming purposes, this is all I could find. It's alright, I'm just gonna pull down on my eye and go in here. So you can see the effect. Gives the eye a wider effect. So if you look at this eye, nice and open, doughy, not so much. Okay, so this is a MAC liner. It's got a brush. It's like a little pen. So just take that liner and start at the outside edge, and we're just gonna really lightly and finely start drawing a line. Now you can put a wing with this if you want. You definitely don't have to. And I recommend getting a mirror that you can bring forward to you so that you can get a little closer and more intimate with your eye space. In person, this is gorgeous. I don't know if that's reading on camera, but in person it looks really good. Okay, so I got a little smudge right up here. That's okay. I'm gonna show you how to take care of that. But take the liner out, just out, stop, pull it away, and then on top of it, bring it back in so that it meets the line and it's smooth. If this is too hard for you, use powder. Use a black eyeshadow. It will help you. Okay, and then the other thing is this smudge right here. So I got a smudge. That's okay. That happens. That's a reality of makeup. So I'm gonna take a little brush. So like a little brush. This is actually a paintbrush. Any little brush. And I'm just gonna go over it. Don't do this while it's wet. Do this after it's dry. I'm just gonna go over it and see if it'll smooth out by itself. So this is kind of going away on its own. And part of the reason we put down so much shadow, we were packing it instead of getting it to be sheer, we're wanting it to be more opaque, is because when we get things like this, it's a lot easier to deal with it. And then I'm just gonna take that pink shade with that same little brush and just erase her. So, starting at the back, really pressing the little brush into my lash line. Little short bursts. Another thing is, depending on your eye shape, you might not want to bring this all the way in, because it may close off your eye shape. So you've seen it with just liquid eyeliner with a wing. I'm going to put lashes on so you can see what it looks like with the lashes. I actually have the same pair. They've been more well loved. They're not new, but I have the same pair of lashes that this client bought and I put on her. So I'm going to show you how to put those on and whatnot, and show you the look with the two different sides. However, I am going to show you what a smoky liner looks like. Okie dokie, so I have this palette, and it has a nice matte black shadow. I'm going to take that black shadow on a little domed pencil brush. It's like a domed brush that's not fluffy. That's more it's pointed and it's stiff so that you can kind of work it back and forth. Okay, and then I'm going to take, and I'm just going to go against that liner. I'm going to take some Duo, good old Duo, blop it on the side. I'm just going to take some tweezers, and the back of the tweezer I'm going to use as a little paintbrush to put the lash glue on the band. So that way I don't get lash glue all over the place. Okay. And if the glue starts to go down the lash a little bit, you want to take your finger or take something and get it off of there, because you don't want it to stick that part to your lashes. So we just want to paint the band. And if it gets below the band, that's where you don't want it to be. Okay, so now it's been drying for a second and it's starting to kind of get this yellowy tint to it. That's how you know it's ready, because it starts out white and goes clear. And in that process, it turns kind of yellow. And that's when you know it's ready. And then I'm just gonna place it in the center of my lash. And then I'm gonna lift the edge and place that at the edge of my eye. And then the inside, we're just gonna press the inner corner of your eye. The main two places you want this lash to stick really well is gonna be the outer corner and the inner corner. Obviously you want it stuck all the way through, but the inner and outer corners are like the most important parts. And I'm just pressing to make sure the band is secure, and then lifting to make sure that nothing's stuck together, they're all separated, and that my lashes are going into the lashes themselves. Okay, now I like to put on mascara after my lashes are glued on. That's totally up to you. Okay, so now we have a lash glued on. So now that we have that lash glued on, I'm gonna take my mascara, and don't do this too early. If your lash is not all the way secure, this could lift the edges. So I already made sure my lash is really secure on there. It's not going anywhere, and it's placed just the way that I want it. So I'm gonna turn down the lights again. So we have the lash on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my mascara, start in the middle, and work inward and outward. I like to build my outer corner and my middle more than the inner corner for me personally. Okay, so those are the eyes pretty much done. Like I said, if you want to add a brow, and then start on the rest of your face. I would say the whole time you're doing this eye, your skin should either put on a hydrating mask or do your full skincare, do your serums and your moisturizers and all that stuff. Your skin should be well exfoliated, and then do all your prepping and everything, and then once you get done with this, you can take a wipe and wipe around the edges and make it really nice and clean. And then you're ready to do your makeup, your face makeup. So, and with that, you can do whatever you like to do, you know, as much foundation as you like. Maybe you don't like any, maybe you like a BB cream, whatever you like. I would say anything without SPF is probably a good idea, just because SPF can tend to flash back sometimes. But other than that, yeah. Here is the face. Okay, so this is kind of some semi-normal light. So this is the eye, all done with the lashes. Looks really nice. I hope that you have a great wedding, and if you need more help, come see me again and I'll give you another tutorial. And for the rest of my viewers, I hope this helps you. This is an everyday look that you can do, or a bridal look you can do for your wedding. And it looks just really classy, stunning, brings out the natural features of the eye. So yeah, have a good night, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.